अस्सलाम वालेकुम स्टूडेंट्स। आज आप लोग सब कैसे हैं? मुझे एक बात बताइए, आप लोगों को पता है कि आपकी हाइट कितनी है? अगर आपसे कोई पूछे कि आप कितने लंबे हैं तो आप कैसे जवाब देंगे? आप कहेंगे मैं 5'3" हूँ या मैं 5'10" हूँ। हाउ डू यू नो दैट? आपको इसीलिए पता है क्योंकि आपने कभी ना कभी अपने आप की हाइट को मेजर किया है ना? स्टूडेंट्स, in the study of physics, there are many different aspects to measure a physical quantity and many type of measurement tools. ये physical quantities क्या होती हैं? Physical quantities are those quantities that can be measured by any means or some measurement. जिस तरह आप अपनी height measure कर सकते हैं. Simply, all measurable quantities are known as physical quantities. Scalar and vector quantities are two of these types of measurement tools. And आज के एपिसोड में हम इन दोनों क्वांटिटीज को ही डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे. Let's start with scalars. क्या आपको पता है which parameters are required to measure a physical quantity? जी हाँ, direction and magnitude. मिसाल के तौर पे अगर हम किसी दुकान जाते हैं और 5 kg शुगर हमने खरीदनी है तो here 5 is the magnitude or the numerical value which we need to specify the direction. Physical quantities need magnitude or direction or both for the representation and they have some units. अगर हमने एक गोल्ड की बार को मेजर करना है या उसके मास को मेजर करना है, we will need only the magnitude and not the direction. So a scalar quantity is a quantity that has magnitude only and it has no direction in space. 1 is the numerical value that represents the magnitude of the physical quantity called mass. ये आपको याद रखना है स्टूडेंट्स that scalar is the measurement of only magnitude. अब एक गाड़ी को लेते हैं जिसकी लेंथ 4.5 मीटर है. Here length is the physical quantity whose magnitude is 4.5 and its unit is meters. Similarly, we all know that we measure time in seconds because that is the standard unit of time. Time is a physical quantity whose unit is second. एक और एग्जाम्पल हम ले सकते हैं टेम्परेचर की. Its unit is Kelvin. Normally we measure temperature in centigrades or sometimes in Fahrenheit. तो अब तक आजकल हमने क्या सीखा स्टूडेंट्स? हमने ये सीखा that a scalar is a physical quantity that has only magnitude. Some more examples of scalar quantities are mass, time, temperature, etc. सबसे पहले mass को देखते हैं. Mass is the amount of matter present in the body. कुछ लोगों को ये गलतफहमी होती है कि mass और weight एक ही चीज होती हैं. But that is not true. The most important thing that you need to understand is that mass and weight are two different quantities. To define mass, we only need magnitude, as we have discussed in the above examples of sugar and gold bar. But जब हम weight की बात करते हैं, तो weight is the force with which the earth attracts everything towards its center. और weight का formula है, weight is equal to mass into gravity. Let's talk about time. Scalar quantities often refer to time. The measurement of years, months, weeks, days, hours, seconds, minutes and even milliseconds. अब आते हैं टेम्परेचर की तरफ. The temperature is a scalar quantity. You don't need to tell the direction of the temperature. जिस तरह अभी हमने पिछली एपिसोड हीट एंड टेम्परेचर में इतनी डिटेल से पढ़ा है. And the measurement of the medium's temperature is a scalar quantity. Such as the thermometer reached the temperature of 36.8 degrees centigrade. As you can see, it only has magnitude. The measurement of the increase or decrease in the medium's temperature is a vector quantity. अब हम आते हैं length पर. Length is again another scalar quantity. Next we have amount of substance. कि एक substance के अंदर कितना amount होता है. Then we have intensity of light. जिसमें हम देखते हैं कि हाउ मच एनर्जी लाइट कैरीज इन द इंटेंसिटी ऑफ लाइट। देन वी हैव वॉल्यूम, जो कि एक स्केलर क्वांटिटी है, एंड द स्केलर क्वांटिटी कैन रेफर टू द वॉल्यूम ऑफ द मीडियम as in how much of the medium is present. Everything from tons to ounces to grams, milliliters, and micrograms are all scalar quantities, as long as they are applied to the medium being measured and not the movement of the medium. Next, we have speed and temperature. Two more commonly used scalar quantities in physical calculations are speed and temperature. As long as हम इनको किसी डायरेक्शन और मूवमेंट की तरफ एसोसिएट नहीं करते, they would remain scalar quantities. For instance, the measurement of speed in miles or kilometers per hour or the measurement of the temperature of the medium both remain scalar quantities, as long as they aren't associated with the direction of the medium's travel. Next, we have density. Scalar quantities, जैसा हमने पहले पढ़ा, are the measurements that strictly refer to the magnitude of the quantity. इसमें कोई डायरेक्शन के कंपोनेंट्स नहीं होते, सिर्फ मैग्नीट्यूड होता है. Some physical quantities that can be described just by the numerical value without direction. The addition of these physical quantities follows the simple rules of algebra. इधर सिर्फ मैग्नीट्यूड्स ऐड होते हैं. So, in order to add a scalar quantity, the magnitudes are added only, just like numerical numbers. Now we come to the second part of our episode, which is vectors. A vector is a quantity that has both magnitude and a direction in space. Vector is a measurement that refers to both the magnitude of the physical quantity as well as the direction. इस कॉन्सेप्ट को और क्लियर करने के लिए कुछ एग्जाम्पल्स को देखते हैं. In the above examples, you can see that in order to measure a vector quantity, we need both magnitude and direction. Because whenever we want to know the exact location of a person, we need to know about its direction along with its magnitude. A vector with a value of magnitude equal to 1 and direction is called a unit vector, represented by a lowercase alphabet with a hat circumflex. जैसा आपको सामने नजर आ रहा है. चलें कुछ और एग्जाम्पल्स वेक्टर की देखते हैं. सबसे पहले हमारे पास आती है एक्सेलरेशन, मीनिंग कि गाड़ी कितनी तेजी से चल रही है. देन वी हैव पोजीशन, कि कोई चीज एग्जैक्टली किधर है. देन वी हैव डिस्प्लेसमेंट. डिस्टेंस विदाउट चेंज ऑफ डायरेक्शन इज कॉल्ड डिस्प्लेसमेंट. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इन फिगर, the displacement from house to school is 5 kilometers due east. So the magnitude of the displacement is 5 kilometers and the direction is east. Next, we have force. A force is a vector quantity. Next, we have momentum. इसके बाद हमारे पास आता है weight, जो कि हमने पहले क्लियर किया है कि weight is a vector quantity because we know that weight is always acting downwards. इसकी एक डायरेक्शन है. So, because it has a direction, it is a vector quantity. Then we have velocity. The measurement of the rate at which an object changes position is a vector quantity. For example, if a person quickly moves one step forward and then one step backwards, there would certainly be a lot of activity, but there would be zero velocity. In order to measure the vector quantity of the medium, there must be some things, like a directional measurement applied to the scalar quantity. For example, कोई चीज जितनी भी तेजी से जा रही हो, डायरेक्शन जरूर मेंशन होनी चाहिए. इसीलिए ये बहुत जरूरी है कि हम डायरेक्शन का मेंशन करें, सच एज राइटवर्ड्स और फॉरवर्ड. Then a beginning reference point भी जरूरी है. A beginning reference point for the directional measurement in order to provide the directional element of the vector quantity. Your beginning point could be centered in the north, south, east or west quadrant so that the vector quantity can be applied to the medium's movement. मिसाल के तौर पे, अगर आपने गाड़ी की वेलोसिटी को डिस्क्राइब करना है तो आप इस तरह बोलेंगे दैट 70 miles per hour south. Another directional element that may be applied to the vector quantity is the difference between vertical and horizontal movements. But vector quantities, however, refer to both the direction of the medium's movement as well as the measurement of the scalar quantity. Students, there are two ways to specify a vector. A magnitude A and A direction theta, or it is given in the x and y components as ax or ay. The vector A can be resolved into its two rectangular components, जैसा आपको नजर आ रहा है. और अगर हमने A की डायरेक्शन बतानी है तो वो ऐसे नजर आ सकती है. अब हम आते हैं द डिफरेंस बिटवीन स्केलर्स एंड वेक्टर्स, कि इन दोनों चीज़ों में एग्जैक्टली डिफरेंस क्या है. A scalar quantity is different from the vector quantity in terms of direction. Scalars में डायरेक्शन नहीं होती, जबकि वेक्टर्स में डायरेक्शन होती है. और इस फीचर की वजह से the scalar quantity can be said to be represented in one-dimensional, whereas vector quantities can be multidimensional. The difference between scalars and vectors can be understood by comparing speed and velocity. क्योंकि speed and velocity are also not the same. Velocity requires a directional component and is therefore a vector quantity. जबकि speed tells us how fast we are going, but not which way we are going. So speed is a scalar quantity. Students, अब हम इस एपिसोड के कुछ की पॉइंट्स पर गौर करते हैं. Number 1, a scalar has magnitude but not direction. Number 2, the size of a quantity is its magnitude. Number 3, a vector is a physical quantity that has both magnitude and direction. Number 4, a vector has magnitude as well as direction, but a scalar has only magnitude. अब हम अपना टेस्ट लेंगे और देखेंगे कि हमने आज के एपिसोड से क्या सीखा. Question number 1, quantities which can be specified by a number having appropriate units, positive, negative or 0, are called A. Scalars, B. Vectors, C. Physical units, D. Chemical units. The correct answer is A. Scalars. Number 2, physical quantities having both magnitude and direction with appropriate unit are called A. Scalars, B. Vectors, C. Physical units, D. Chemical units. The correct answer is B. Vectors. Question number 3. A vector whose magnitude is 1 is known as A. Null vector, B. Unit vector, C. Free vector, D. Position vector. The correct answer is B. Unit vector. Number 4. Pick out the only scalar quantity. A. Power, B. Electric field, C. Velocity, D. Force. The correct answer is A. Power. Number 5. Which of the following statement is false? A. The magnitude of a vector is always a scalar. B. The total path length is always equal to the magnitude of the displacement vector of a particle. C. The average speed of a particle is either greater or equal to the magnitude of the average velocity over the same interval of time. D. 3 vectors not lying in a plane can never add up to give a null vector. The correct answer is B. The total path length is always equal to the magnitude of the displacement vector of a particle. Number 6. Which of the following is a scalar quantity? A. Displacement, B. Electric field, C. Acceleration, D. Work. The correct answer is D. Work. Number 7. Which of the following lists of physical quantities consists only of vector? A. Time, temperature, mass. B. Force, volume, momentum. C. Velocity, acceleration, mass. Or D. Force, acceleration, velocity. The correct answer is A. Time, temperature, mass. Question number 8. If two vectors 3a and 4b, which are in the same direction, are added together, then the resultant is given by A. 3a plus 4b, B. 4a plus 3b, C. 3a minus 4b, D. None of the above. The correct answer is A. 3a plus 4b. Students, अगली एपिसोड तक अपना बहुत ख्याल रखिए। अल्लाह हाफिज़।